Did I stay up until almost midnight to herald in my own readathon? You're absolutely correct that I did. It is about 7 minutes to midnight on Saturday the 7th of December, which means in about 7 minutes, RomComAthon is about to start. Holiday RomComAthon is something that I've been working on for a couple of months now, and I'm genuinely so excited for it to actually be here. I have had these books on my sites for a really, really long time. I rushed out and bought the first book that I'm going to read for the readathon, like almost as soon as it came out, because it's by one of my favorite authors. It is by somebody that I really, really want to read their next book. So I just need that clock to take over, because I'm going to pick up Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. This is going to fit into two of the prompts. This is going to be one of the love interests in Charlotte, because I really love the idea of a musician who is living in Manhattan and is living their best life there. And it's also going to fit into the setting, because I really love a holiday movie that is set in your parents' house, that has like all of that big family vibes. Everybody is coming back home for the holidays. Everybody is getting together and cooking food and giving gifts to one another. That is the kind of vibe that I live for in a holiday movie, and that is the kind of vibe that I live for in my own holiday celebrations. So when I found out that it was in the pages of this book, I knew that I had to read it. This is about Charlotte, who was left at the altar 4 or 5 years ago, but she has kind of made her life move on by now. She's living in New York. She is a member of a 4-piece ensemble, and one of her bandmates invites everybody back home to Colorado with her for Christmas. They're going to eat food, they're going to relax, but they're also going to have a couple of jam sessions because they're going on tour in the new year. And while they're there, Sloane's sister also brings a friend. And the friend that is brought is Brighton. And Brighton is the exact same woman who left Charlotte at the altar all those years ago. I am ready for the hijinks. I watched Our Little Secret about 4 or 5 days ago, and it's got a rather similar premise to this book, and I really loved that kind of hijinks that was in the film. So I'm really hoping that that's going to be exactly the same thing that's in this book. I'm going to try and read a little bit of it when I go to bed just now, and I will wake up tomorrow and I'll let you know how far in I got. Also, I like to match the ribbon of my bookmark with the cover of the book that I'm reading, and I have two really good candidates for this one. The first one is this one. It's got a kind of a lighter green than the other, and the design is a super cute little kind of animal bookstore or a cat lying in bed reading. It is adorable. The second one, the band is the perfect color, but I feel like the bookmark itself is out of season. So the band is like an almost perfect forest green that matches like spectacularly with the cover of the book, whereas this one doesn't match it quite as well. However, it's very much a floral, spring, pastel-based bookmark. It's also got a kind of a little phrase in German. It says, Ein Buch ist wie ein Garten, den man in der Tasche trägt, which means that a book is like a garden that you can carry with you in your bag. I don't know how much carrying I'm going to be doing with this in my bag, because I don't know what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days, but if I am going out, I'm going to bring in this with me. It's now Tuesday. I haven't updated you on a single thing yesterday, because yesterday was kind of a reset day. On Sunday, I woke up at 4:45 in the morning, on Sunday going into Monday, to watch the final show of the Eras tour, and then spent most of yesterday comatose. I was running on fumes by the time it got to about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so I just napped on the couch, but I did start an audiobook. I started the audiobook of Under the Mistletoe with You by Lizzie Huxley-Jones. This is the second book in a series, but I would necessarily say that you don't have to read the first one to understand what's going on here. This is about Chris, who is living in the west of Wales, and there's a massive snowstorm, so he isn't able to get back to London to spend Christmas with his family, which is a little bit of a disaster, because Christopher has actually rented out his apartment for somebody to come and live in there and to make a little bit of extra money while he's away celebrating. So now he is stuck in with his new house guest, who just so happens to be a guy called Nash, who is a Hollywood actor, and he is the star of some of Christopher's favourite Hallmark holiday movies. Christopher has had a crush on him ever since he's seen him. So I am expecting things to get a little bit exciting. I'm expecting things to get a little bit heated between the two of them. As we have just seen them now, there isn't really a whole lot of chemistry between the two of them, because to be quite honest with you, Nash is just kind of coming to terms with what's going to be happening here. He's just figuring out what's happening in the UK. He's like not really sure what everything is. He was asking things like, oh, I thought that you guys had left Europe. which a lot of people will misconstrue leaving the European Union for leaving Europe. I'm not entirely sure I love Nash's attitude and personality at the moment, but I think that a lot of that could just be getting stressed out from traveling, getting stressed out from flying over from the US. There seems to be a lot of pressure coming at him from his family and from his agent. So I'm hoping that that is just teething pains, and after a while we're going to see another side to him. As for Make the Season Bride, I'm about 20 or so pages in, and it's very, very low stakes at the moment. There isn't a whole lot happening in here. There isn't really a whole lot to update you on, even. It's just that we've met the 4 members of the quartet, and they have all been invited back to Colorado to spend Christmas with Sloane's family, and we have just started a Brighton chapter. So this is going to be a dual perspective book, which is something that I love. But I'm going into this a little bit tentative right now, because I know a couple of people who I really respect and who I have quite similar tastes with didn't enjoy it. I know that Brittany and Kelsey have this as the B&K book club for December and weren't entirely obsessed with it when I was watching some of the live stream a couple of days ago. So let's just see what happens. Let's see how it goes. But I think Ashley Herring-Blake might be on track to break my heart here. And cut because it's Christmas. Treat yourself. Today's Friday. I'm going to be hosting about 6 hours of sprints starting in about 4 hours from now. I've got to get through work first. I have got the audiobook of Under the Mistletoe with You still on the go. I'm about 50 or so % of the way through this book, and I'm really, really enjoying this. I had a really great time with Make You Mine this Christmas last year, so I knew I was in relatively safe hands here. But I think this is another level up from that. Something that I really appreciate about this book is the inclusion of seizures. Nash suffers from seizures, and I think it was so well written. Now, I know this because Lizzie Huxley-Jones suffers from seizures in their own life. So I know that this was written from a place of experience. I know that this was written from a place of care and of trust and of respect, but it was done so well. I'm also glad to say that the kind of coldness that I had toward Nash at the beginning is starting to fade away because he's starting to come out of his shell a little bit more. He isn't the kind of brash and aggressive actor that we would have seen at the beginning of the book. He's much more mellow now. He's actually a lot more ingratiated with the community that they're staying in. And that's something that I really like watching as well. Because a lot of people aren't able to leave their homes because they are old or infirm. A lot of people aren't able to feed themselves because they need extra care and attention. So I really like the idea of these two guys driving around South Wales in a van with a bunch of food that they've cooked up in the bakery's professional kitchen and dropping it to people's homes so that they have something to get them through the day. It's such a nice and warm and cozy Christmassy feel. I'm really enjoying this book. I think I'll probably have it finished by the time that I get to sprints this evening because I'm about 3 or so hours from the end. I've only got one more meeting to get through today and then we're done. I wish I could say the same for Make the Season Bright. However, this one is truly on course to disappoint me. I am going to read it physically through sprints, and we'll see how I get along with it. But I'm about 90 or so pages in, and I feel like nothing has happened. Charlotte and Brighton have gotten to the house, and they have started to get to know the family, and they're out now on a kind of a Christmas horse ride, or a ranch, or something like that. And the only thing I can tell you about it now is that Brighton is afraid of horses from an experience that she had when she was younger, and she was bucked off a horse. And I just don't I'm not invested in this book. I don't get it. I don't know what's happened. I've been so disappointed by two of my favorite romance authors this year, and I don't know if it's a me thing. I don't know if it's something in the waters this year, but things just aren't adding up for me. So I will keep going with it. I will push out with it as best as I can, but I don't think this is going to be the merry, cozy Christmas feeling that I wanted it to be. It's Saturday morning. We have skin. Let's care for it. I technically have about 20-ish hours left on my own readathon, because my friend is coming tomorrow to visit for like a couple of days, and we're going to be doing a whole lot of going around Berlin, looking at Christmas markets once again. We're going to have dinner, we're going to hang out together, we're just going to have a really nice cozy Christmassy time. But also it does mean I will be far away from the books for quite a lot of the day. I am currently 80% of the way through with Under the Mistletoe with You. Having a phenomenal time. We've gotten to Christmas Day, and everybody in the area, I think it's called Penamore, is coming together, and they're making a really big potluck Christmas dinner that everyone who is stranded in the town is going to come to, be together, drink together, eat together, share stories, share some small little gifts if they have them around the house. And I love that idea. I really love the idea of just a gentle, Christmassy vibe. I also, however, am about 180-ish pages into Make the Season Bright. This is not going as well. We have found out the reason that the wedding didn't go through 5 years ago. We have gotten a kind of a flashback to that. And I don't love how the flashbacks are done in this book. Now, I have said in other books that I don't feel like the flashbacks were very well laid out. I don't feel like they were very easy to differentiate between now and the flashbacks. But this one is so much worse. This one, it's all just bunched in together in one big paragraph. There's no paragraph breaks. There's no, like, even if you're listening to it, you can hear the like do music that some shows will have done to identify that you're going back in time in the character's mind here. There is none of that happening here. And that's why it's really confusing to me at times, because there are so many flashbacks that you see, not just to the wedding day itself, but the first day that Charlotte and Brighton met each other. Charlotte and Brighton's first kiss. I think they were seniors or juniors in high school, and they were at like a last day of school, like mock-up day or something. It's not easily identifiable, and it's not easily distinguishable from what's happening in the real world, and it brings you slammed straight back into what's happening now. I'm just not on board with it. The Ashleys have done me bad this year, because A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston was also one that I was really looking forward to. I read that back in July, August kind of time, and I didn't have the best time with it. Something's wrong with the Ashleys this year. Am I going to keep going with it? Yeah, because I kind of want to know what all of the chaos is. I kind of want to know what's going on. I need to know like what's happening in here, but it's not one that I'm going to be looking forward to keeping going. It's not one that I'm going to be looking forward to picking back up when I'm finished with everything that I need to do for the day. I did this to myself. I set this readathon this week. I did this to myself. I'm going to have a little chat with myself. I felt like this needed to be festive, so welcome to a very badly lit wrap-up of Holiday RomComAthon featuring my Christmas tree. Holiday RomComAthon is going to be, like, it's going to be over in a couple of hours. It's Sunday evening. It's going to be over in, like, I don't know, 4 hours, but I need to go to sleep. It's been fun. I've had a really good time with one of the books that I read. I had a not so great time with the other book that I didn't read. I DNF'd it. I actually DNF'd Make the Season Bright about 60% or so of the way through, just because there was nothing in it that I was rooting for. I didn't root in any way for Charlotte and Brighton to end up back together. These two women really needed to sit down and organize themselves and discuss what had happened between the two of them 5 years ago, and where they were going to go from here with this week that they have been like cajoled into by two of their friends. I also feel like Charlotte let Brighton off a lot sooner than what I would have done, and a lot easier than what I would have done, considering everything that had happened. Okay, that lighting was terrible. We have to go over here. I did really enjoy Under the Mistletoe with You, though. I finished that this morning on the way into town. I had such a good time. It was such a wonderful book. I really loved the community feeling to it. I really loved that Christopher and Nat got together and they brought people out of their homes and they brought them into the big community centre and they had a massive Christmas dinner together. Everybody was trapped in the snow. Everybody was not able to go back home, or their families weren't able to come and visit them. It was so wonderful to see. I had such a great time with this book. I really think that Lizzie Huxley Jones is becoming a Christmas staple for me, because I absolutely adored Make You Mine This Christmas, and that was, I think, their first fiction novel. It's definitely their first Christmassy book, but I had such a great time with it. I truly think that they are starting to become a must-have author for Christmas reading for me. And I don't know if there's any plans for another book in the series. I don't know if there's any plans for another Christmas book full stop from them. But if there is, I'm all over it. Now, I don't necessarily think that I have gotten all 4 of the prompts filled out, and that's fine, and that's okay. These things happen. Books don't work. Life gets hectic. Books need to be let down. And I just had fun reading. I just got into the Christmas spirit. If you look at me last Sunday, I wasn't feeling very festive. I wasn't feeling very Christmassy. Whereas this weekend, I'm definitely feeling it. 1, because I've been to about 20 different Christmas markets with my friend. And 2, because this time next weekend, I will be back at home in Ireland with my family. And that's really when I start to feel Christmassy. Because I've been living abroad, when I get to go back home and do all of the Christmas things I have been doing since I was a child, that we go and do the big Christmas shop, that my brother and I exchange gifts to one another on Christmas Eve, that we all go to Cork City together as a family and we have dinner together and we get our last bits Christmas shopping done. Those are the things that really herald in Christmas for me. And I think when I'm standing in the departures end of Berlin Airport, that's really when it's going to start feeling. But right now, it's starting to hit. So do let me know what it is that means Christmas for you, because I really love to know in the comments. And if you want to let me know that you were here, but you don't have anything to say, then you can just leave me any one of the heart emojis. If you took part in Holiday RomComAthon in any capacity this week, I had such a great time with you. Thank you so much for taking part. And let's see if we rekindle our love in 2025. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.